Does sex get better with age? Hi, I'm Joan Price, and many of you sent in questions on exactly that topic. Some of you were people in your 50s or 60s, and you're going, oh my gosh, why is sex so good? How come I didn't know it could be so good? And why am I enjoying it more than I ever did before? Many of your questions, I would guess, are from younger people who just honestly don't know what to expect. Can I expect that sex will get better? Or maybe you've heard it does and you don't understand, how can it when you're in those old bodies? How can sex be better? Isn't sex just for the young and unwrinkled and firm-bodied people? No, it's for all of us. So let's talk about how sex can be better. As a matter of fact, I got into this career of writing and speaking about older age sexuality because for me, at age 57 and in a brand new relationship, it was fantastic. I had no idea to expect that. No idea. Was it the same as younger sex? No, it really wasn't. I wasn't being driven by hormones. Those ships had sailed. But I was being driven by joy and pleasure and intimacy and the NRE, new relationship energy of a new love. And oh my gosh, I had no idea it could be this way. In fact, I was so startled by it that I wrote a book. This is where it all started. Better Than I Ever Expected, Straight Talk About Sex After 60. And I wrote this to celebrate the joys of older age sexuality because there was nothing at that time that I could find in books, on the internet, anywhere, that conveyed what sex could be at my age, which by then was late 50s and into my early 60s, that was in any way comparable to what I was really experiencing. I had read a little doom and gloom, everything dries up and you might as well just go crochet or visit your grandchildren or say, come on, don't tell me that. I'm a zesty woman and I'm having wonderful sex, and why is this such a secret? It shouldn't be, so I'm going to do my part to to talk out loud about it, and haven't stopped. That was my first book was published at age 61, my first book on this subject at age 61, and I'm now 78, and you can see behind me, haven't slowed down a whole lot. So what does make sex better? For some of the people who said, how can I be having such great sex right now when I had no idea it could be so wonderful? Well, for one thing, not being able to get pregnant anymore sometimes lifts some anxiety that many of us would go into every sex act being worried about. We don't have to be worried about that anymore. Another thing about it is that at this time of life, and I'm saying at this time, let me say over 50, 60, 70, and beyond, because I started feeling this in my late 50s, but well, actually with menopause. Long about menopause, I started realizing that I wanted to not do the things that weren't important to me. In other words, I started seeing that I wasn't immortal, that this life change meant that I was now over the hump of my midlife and going into my senior years. Did I need to be afraid of that? No, I didn't need to be afraid of that, but I did need to look at what was no longer reasonable to do, what I didn't want to be doing, what I didn't want expected of me. And a lot of menopausal women will talk about it this way. I know we had lots of talks in the gym locker room with someone saying, so I told my husband, remember your own damn appointment. And everybody laughed because, we know that. So part of feeling I'm going to let go, I'm going to take this opportunity to reevaluate what is important to me and what matters, led us to put a greater emphasis on the pleasures of sexuality. See, we're letting go of things, but we're also grabbing onto things. We're saying, wait, I do not want to let this thing go. And it's not the same as it used to be. I take longer to get aroused, to take longer to reach orgasm. So let's pivot that into an asset. Oh boy, I get to take more time with sex. I get to enjoy it for longer before orgasm ends it for me in a good way, but still ends it. So here's the thing. If we celebrate what our bodies can still do, the pleasures we can still get, the pleasures we can still give to a loved one, or to a hookup, or to anyone we want to give it to, actually, then we will be in better shape to continue to enjoy sex for the rest of our lives. There are other things that help. Keeping ourselves fit, physically active, very important, because the blood flow does slow down, and whatever we can do to speed it up, such as exercise, is good. We need to, of course, educate ourselves about what changes in our body and which things we can change back, which things we need to work around, which things we need to find whole new ways of dealing with. But yes, at this time of our life, we know ourselves better than we ever did. We know what we want from relationships. We know what we don't want from relationships. We're better able to advocate for what we want. And yeah, everything can be better, not just sex. But the short answer to your question is yes, sex can be better the older we get.